In today's video, I am revisiting Black historical fiction I've read before. And not to summarize the story again, but to share with you what stood out and why these stories matter. My name is Raquel. I talk about all things Black books. Welcome and welcome back. So the first book is James by Percival Everett. So most of you already know that James is a retelling of Huckleberry Finn. But what if it's more than just a retelling? What about James reclaiming his voice? I've never read Huckleberry Finn, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't read like this. I know that from James's perspective, he had to have strategy. He had to code switch, and he used his intelligence as resistance. This was a great book. I often forget that I read it, but once I looked it over, I was like, oh yeah, this is it right here. Next, we have Happy Land by Dolan Perkins Valdez. Now, this story is basically about inheritance, but not just the inheritance of land. The grandmother or great grandmother, I can't remember, I believe she was a great grandmother. The great grandmother who lived on Happy Land, or the lady who lived on Happy Land, she was not able to pass down the memory to her daughter because she would not receive it. So the granddaughter, she was able to inherit the memories. She was able to inherit that legacy, like to be able to say that I am the uh, great granddaughter of a queen, or my ancestor was a queen. She was able to inherit that as well. So it is more than just about inheriting land, it's about inheriting those memories, and the history behind it. So this was a great read as well. All of these books were great reads. I wanted to make sure that these were all books that I enjoyed very much. So next we have The Sable Cloak by Gail Melissa Grant. Now this one is about identity and belonging, and basically about making space, or planting ourselves in spaces that was never meant for us. But in doing that, um, the assimilation comes at a cost. We all know that our ancestors had to assimilate, not, and I'm not talking too far back. Like my mother would have had to assimilate. She would have had to straighten her hair to get a job, when she was younger. So that assimilation comes at a cost, whether you're fully assimilating or partially. I loved this book. I'm not going to keep saying that, but these books were so good to me. Next, we have Yonder by Jabari Sims. Now, this book had some magic realism in it. And number one, I didn't know it had magic realism. And number two, I wasn't really familiar. So when I was reading it, I was kind of like, huh? But this was a great book. It was kind of difficult to read, but it was a great book about the erasure of Black people, or the attempt to erase Black people, because it was happening then, and it is currently still happening. They helped other Black people to get to places that where they could not be touched. This was a very difficult read for me, but I did enjoy it. I actually think I want to go back and read it again, because I believe books like this, I will get more out of it. The more I read it, the more I will get out of it. So if you've read Yonder, let me know what your thoughts are about Yonder. This one was a bit difficult for me, even though I enjoyed it. It was still difficult. Um, and then we have Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkerson. Now, this one, it shows that The history of a family and the trauma can live inside of objects as well as a family. And you have to figure out it's not about um, forgetting that past or that trauma, but understanding and how to move forward. Not gonna say it, but yeah, she Charmaine Wilkerson. Yes, I cannot wait until she come out with the next book. Next, we have Red Clay. This book reflects how systemic boundaries don't just limit opportunities, but it influences identity and self worth. It gets deep into that, how especially men are wrapped up in kind of things in order to make them feel or think that they're bigger or better than the next person, or to try and put you down, or any person down. We have been maneuvering through these systemic barriers for hundreds of years now, right? Even with this new era that we live in, I'm sure that we will maneuver it as best we can. And then we have Untethered by Angela Jackson Brown. This book had me in tears. Um, this one is sort of about roles and the roles that society puts on us. And when we take those roles and we fall into them, no matter how comfortable, how uncomfortable, or how burdensome they might be, this woman took a step back and looked at the roles that she was given, that she inherited, that she didn't ask for, that she probably never even thought about. She just stepped into it because she knew that that was what she needed to do. Nobody asked her, nobody said, "This is what you do." She just knew that was what she needed to do. But at some point, she took a step back and realized, I have to find my happiness. And I love that for her. I do. I love that for her. This was, yeah, I have found that I definitely do like her books, even though it seems like um, most of her books, the main male character is not a black character, but even still, in my head, he's a black character, even if he's not. Now, next we have The Descendants by Jasmine Ward. This book tore me down, all the way down. I have never read anything like this book before in my life. The things that were happening in that book didn't never even crossed my mind. Never considered it, never thought of it. This book tore me down. Um, but I believe in epigenetic memory. The past isn't just our background, and it isn't really as far away as we might think it is. But all of those things, not just the trauma, but the strength and the resilience, the happy, like all of the positive traits that come from our ancestors, I believe that they are passed through our epigenetics. I wholeheartedly believe that, and that they are presently currently here with us, in our in us biologically. And that was just what I got from this book. This is another one of those books that I could benefit from reading it again, but like I said, it tore me down, so I probably won't read it again. But The Descendants, if you have not read it, um, I want to tell you to read it, but I don't even know if that's a good idea. And next we have Camilla's Rose by Bernice McFadden. And this one is kind of, for me, similar to the other one, where you have women who take on roles without being asked, um, just jumping in where they're needed, taking care of family, and those kinds of things, even to their detriment. And that is somehow passed down. That might be epigenetic itself. But I do know that Black women take on heavy burdens and large roles, and sometimes their entire family, even if it's not monetarily, it could be health wise, it could be to take care of grandma or mom or dad or whoever, maybe to take on other people's children. I think it's about roles and expectations through our either through our genes or just from seeing it happen in our lifetime with our families. So that was the 10 books. And these are the kind of stories that you don't easily forget. These stories live inside of you, and they're really not that far in history as you would think. You could probably ask a mother or a grandmother, and they probably lived some of this. So it's really not as far back as people would like you to think. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to do all of the YouTube things: like, comment, share, subscribe. Until next time, see you soon.